Hey everyone, welcome to another Mountain Man Monday. This is live stream episode number 33, and today is June 29th, 2020. Hope everyone's having a great start to your week, had a nice weekend, and as always, I welcome everyone that's going to watch here live tonight and watching it on the Mr. Mountain Man YouTube channel under the live stream playlist. So we'll get this kicked off shortly as folks roll in and begin to say hello. Looking forward to tonight and connecting with everybody in the community. And let's go over here and give it a few minutes and let folks roll in. So had a pretty good weekend, although most of what I did this weekend was a lot of work around the house. So it was one of those kind of weekends as compared to last weekend where I was out and about on the motorcycle having a good time. Hey, we've got Marvin Carlton here. This is like tradition. Like Marvin is usually first in the live stream chat. And once again, I hope you're doing well, Marvin, and having a great start to your week and that you also had a nice weekend. And everybody else that's joining. We got Foxy Wolf. Hey, Foxy, how are you doing today? Hello, Mr. Mountain Man, and hello to you as well. Always great to have you here on the live stream on this Mountain Man Monday. We have the Traveling Hoosier. Hey, how are you doing? Hope you guys are doing well up there in Indiana. I believe you all are planning a trip down to Tennessee, so I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. And glad to have you here tonight. I'm not sure if Blondie's Adventures is also in the earshot, but say hello from us all here as well. And we've got Rita Lockett here tonight. Rita, I hope you're having a great start to your week and enjoying as well. Glad to have you here as always. And we do have Blondie's Adventures as well. So we got a great group of people. I love the people that show up here every Monday. What a fantastic community, just a good group of folks. And always enjoy the conversation, even though it's kind of interesting, right? On live streams that I'm really talking to myself here, right? Like, I mean, we're talking in chat, but it's kind of interesting. It's like, I can't hear you, but I'm still talking. I mean, that's the way live streams go, but it's just crazy. Sometimes I think how lively these live streams are, how lively the live streams, how neat the live streams are, but yet I'm just sitting here talking basically by myself for the whole time. So again, I hope everybody's having a nice start to the week. We'll give it a couple minutes and then get it started here with our normal routine of housekeeping and news and notes, but wanted to say hello to everyone. I hope everybody had a good weekend, like I was mentioning. For me, this weekend was more about getting some work done. I was doing some painting again on the deck outside and just getting some stuff done around the house, did some grocery shopping. Spent time with the family, so didn't really go out and do a whole lot. You know, that's the way the weekends roll sometimes, is you got stuff to do and you get it done. But it was nice overall. I did, get to cook out and, watch a movie with the family and do some fun stuff like that. So can't complain. And everything's good. If you did something interesting, let everybody know. I'll be happy to chat it up. We got Dale Bush here. Hello, Mr. Mountain Man and everyone here. I hope your day went well. I hope your day went well, the start to your week, your weekend, and everything else since last time that we spoke. And we also have Susan Thompson here. Hello. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Should I say happy Monday? Like happy Monday. Does that sound right? Like it seems like, I mean, let's be honest with Monday, right? Mondays are like kind of ho-hum, right? Like, especially if you're working. I guess if you're retired or maybe you work a different schedule or, some people don't work Monday through Friday. You might, some people work Wednesday to Sunday and different schedules. But historically and stereotypically, Mondays are kind of, so I always find it a little bit ironic that I have all this energy and happiness on a Monday. So, but some people say happy Monday. There's a great movie I really enjoy. It's at this point, it's almost 20 years old. Office Space. I'm sure many of you have seen it before. If you haven't, it's a good comedy. But the opening scene, I forget who it is. Is it Mike Judd. Yeah, he goes into work and it's a Monday and he's kind of down and he's not too happy. And, there's some happy lady at work and she's like, somebody's got a case of the Mondays. And it's such a great line because Monday is not always fun, but I like being here and I like to say hello to everybody. Let's see. Rita says, had to buy a new window air conditioner for the house. Haven't gotten installed yet. Thank goodness for fans. Yeah, absolutely. This is the time of the year. It's hot. It's hot and it's humid. And even if you're at elevation in the mountains or wherever, it's hot. So yeah, air conditioning is absolutely wonderful. And if you don't have air conditioning, fans, certainly. When I lived in Florida, we had a few hurricanes come through and knock out the power in the middle, late summer or early fall. It didn't matter. It was hot and humid. And boy, that house got nasty, dark, hot. You really appreciate a good fan if the air conditioning isn't working. We got Valley Mountain. Hello, everyone. Well, hello to you as well. Anybody who has mountain in their name is a great call sign for YouTube. So that's fantastic. Blondie, that's really very kind of you. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you to everybody who enjoys being here, enjoys and has a good time. I assume you all come here because you enjoy the conversation and hanging out. But if anybody ever has feedback or wants, doesn't like a part or something like that, feel free. It's not, won't hurt my feelings. Let me know what you think. But I hope you all do enjoy when you're here. A couple more people rolled in here. We got Chad Lovelace. Hey, Chad, how you doing? Hope you're having a great start to your week. Had a good weekend and doing well. And then we also have Kentucky Girl came in. Hello, good evening, Mr. Mountain and everyone, and good evening to you as well. I want to welcome everyone again watching here live, hanging out on a Monday, and also for people watching it later. I always want to say on delay. It's not, technically it's delay, but I'm talking about when you're watching it on the Mr. Mountain Man channel. So let's go ahead and get started. Drum roll. Am I going to get it right this week and do the right banner? I'm going to do the right banner. We're going to start with housekeeping for the week of June 29th, 2020. And one thing I guess let's talk about one housekeeping item. I know I have several moderators in here. I'm not a very large channel, but when I go through this process here on the Mr. Mountain Man channel, where I talk about housekeeping and news and notes, I do not look at the chat, not because I'm not interested in what's going on. It's just too much to do this tradition, part of the live stream, and then also look at the chat. So if there are any moderators that welcome folks that roll in here, even if they're regulars, just our friends that are always here, I certainly would appreciate that. The hi on behalf of Mr. Mountain Man until I play catch up. That's what I always do. So that's one housekeeping thing. Moderators, please say hi to everyone for me. And I really thank you for anything. And if somebody wants to be a moderator and is not, let me know if you would like to. What else is happening on housekeeping for the Mr. Mountain Man channel? Odds and ends. Housekeeping is kind of like odds and ends. It's like things about the channel, odds and ends. So if you're new to the channel and you're wondering what I'm doing, this is the format of my live streams. So my live streams every week, I like to bring to you a little more than just chat. So I talk a little odds and ends, which is the housekeeping. And then we do news and notes. And the news and notes are things most of my channel is tagged as travel and entertainment because it's things I do and places I go and things I like. So the news and notes are traditionally and going to be in relation to travel and entertainment spawning from the mountains and other areas of interest. So if you wonder, it's usually pretty obvious, but if you wonder where I get my news and what's the reasoning behind it and which articles I choose to discuss, it's one that I hope you'll find interesting, things that'll stimulate conversation and things pertaining to travel and entertainment. Again, the category that my YouTube channel is most often tagged with by me as the video creator. So my news and notes follow that. So there's another housekeeping item. The next housekeeping item, I got a haircut. It's still long up top, okay? But I got a haircut on the sides specifically. If you can tell, the sides are a little bit shorter. So I just went to Great Clips because you can check in and they do the social distancing and make you wear a mask. But I find it kind of humorous. And I'll explain why, because I say humorous tongue in cheek. It wasn't really like funny, like, ha, 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 ha. It's more like just interesting that I was the only person there. So as far as like a crowd, it wasn't happening. This was Friday after work. And so I was the only person there, which was nice. So I didn't have to worry about big crowds. And because it's a chain business, they take pretty seriously. You know, they had masks. They even had a table there that looked like if you weren't feeling well, that they could question. And, you know, I didn't see if there was a temperature thing or not. But anyway, they were doing a good job there. And there was hand sanitizer. But then the real process started of getting the haircut. And the lady was very nice, very, very nice. And so I wore a mask, and of course it goes around the ears. And I wondered, how are they going to cut around here? Maybe they just won't. But at one point she says, take it off on one ear so she can cut. So I take it off and it's just like hanging down. And then she didn't really instruct me to hold it. But if I did, you know, your hands are near your face, which is, you know, the weird part. And the whole time, very polite lady. She's talking the whole time. I had my Mustang shirt on. So she starts talking about Mustangs because I have one. And she's talking and she's talking. She had a mask on. But these masks are not like those like gas masks where like no air gets out. I mean, air still comes out. And she's just like in my ear, just like talking and talking and talking, which didn't bother me. Again, super nice lady. But I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, this is all just dumb luck. Like if this lady had COVID, I would have absolutely gotten it. I don't care that we were both wearing masks. She was right in my ear and around my head for 30 minutes. I just found it like, it's futile is what it is. I mean, the attempts at a salon. I do not think it's futile like at a, when you go to like a restaurant or a shopping place or the hardware store or a grocery store, like staying apart from people and stuff, that all works great. But the salon, I almost found it humorous. I'm like, this is silly. Like, this is not an actual deterrent because if this lady was sick or if I was sick and she, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I got my hair cut. So that's pretty cool. It feels, speaking, Rita mentioned something about an air conditioning earlier. I feel like the air conditioning on my head got turned on because I got the sides cut. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So there's the update on the haircut. If you go and get one, don't expect, you know, if you're concerned about the virus, they all do a great job. That's the last thing I'll say. It's just, I don't know how great that job is when it comes to a salon, or I call it a salon, by the way. I don't go to a salon. I get a haircut. I don't know why I'm using that word. Normally I go to a barber shop actually. So anyway, that's the story, the scoop on getting a haircut. Last week, the download speed saga. So every week, all of the regulars here on the channel, which is pretty much all of you, know that I ask for frequent updates on how's my video, you know, because I don't have great internet. It's the best I can get in the mountain. And what's the quality? It's never like 4K, but you can tell the difference between when it's good and when it kind of gets grainy. And so I was a little dumbfounded last week because I had lowered the resolution, which I did again tonight. That's why it looks a little zoomed, because it's a lower resolution. I turn off every single device. I take my phones off of Wi-Fi. Basically, I have all the bandwidth in the house right now. But last week I started getting feedback that said your video is getting choppy. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I thought I had everything. So when the live stream was done last Monday, I went upstairs and the family was watching DirecTV, which I said, it's fine to watch TV because that's over satellite. There's a catch to that. They were watching on demand on the DirecTV, which means not live programming, and not even recorded on the DVR. It was downloaded content. They were watching like Cake Boss, and it was downloading. And I asked about the timing, and right when it started getting grainy was when they started pulling on demand episodes. And that, I'm pretty sure, was competing with me trying to do the live stream. So I have lectured. I say that word very tongue in cheek. I have talked to the family about what we need to do. They're all very supportive, and so everything should be shut down. And I hope, fingers crossed, that the video is very good this week. And I hope that I'm coming in loud and clear. And as always, at least hopefully the audio is working well. So that might be the download, or the bandwidth saga continues. Let's see how much juice internet we can squeeze out of the bandwidth that I have at home. So that's another area of housekeeping. Next up, let me go ahead and share a couple of screens here and get that up and going. And if we go over to here and you give me 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I lied, 6. All right, here we go. So let me see what it looks like. Does it look good? Yeah, there we go. Mr. Mountain Man channel. Oh, isn't that a terrible picture of me right there? I always change the thumbnail. Look at that. That's bad for the live stream. It's like I don't look so good. But that's not the highlight. There's a new video. The new video is Motorcycle Ride, Blue Ridge Parkway, Asheville to Mount Mitchell, North Carolina. Please check it out. I hope you enjoy it. I spent a bit of time trying to edit it. I'm getting to the point, I've talked about this before, where my the video quality, like I'm really trying. It's like sometimes I don't want to stop editing, but it just takes so long. I get more in like this perfectionist mode, and I'm never happy with how the output is, or exactly how I do it. And it's a balance. Like this particular video was almost an hour of video, but not everybody actually likes to watch the motorcycle in regular speed. So I kicked it up a bit so it would do sort of a time lapse, but still get to enjoy the sights and sounds of the video. So I pay real close attention to that stuff. And even when you see my video, I'm probably still not 100% happy with what comes out. But anyway, here's me rambling on about my video editing. There's a new video. I hope you all enjoy it. It was a fun ride. It was one of the most relaxing days I've had in a long time. I really enjoyed that day. I really enjoyed that ride. A lot of the ride that I enjoyed was after I left Mount Mitchell. I didn't do any recording, not because of the recording was taking anything away. It's just I went the long way home, and it was just a fantastic day. I really hope to get back and do that again. So check it out, and I hope you enjoy that. And then the last item of housekeeping is the same one that I always do, but let's just go over it anyway, just in case anybody is new here, which is my Instagram account. My mom had asked a question to me, and I forgot to answer her about, does she need Instagram? I think she was talking about in reference to me speaking about it every single week. You do not need to get an Instagram account to check out this page. I don't think you can click on the videos without being logged in. I'm sorry, the pictures. There's you can't click on the pictures, I don't think. But you can still check it out and see. Anyway, Instagram.com, Mr. Mountain_man. If you have a Facebook account, you already have Instagram, because Instagram's owned by Facebook. So just letting you know that you don't need to sign up for a separate account. A little lower on the pictures this week. There's some grilling out from yesterday. I do Sunday grilling, nothing spectacular. That food right there was actually, we bought double for that. This picture down here, when we went to the park in Pisgah Forest, I had double, so I used it this week. But I don't always do just burgers and hot dogs, and that's corn. Sometimes I do. Sometimes, lots of time, I do chicken or pork, or once in a while, once or twice a year, I'll do ribs. It's not like a slow cooker. I mean, this is a gas grill, so we're not talking about a 15-hour effort here to smoke something, but which I appreciate people that do. It's just I don't always have the time. The other picture was just basically saying, hey, I got a new video. So anyway, yes, that is the housekeeping for the week of June 29th, 2020. So what's next, everyone? News and notes of the week for June 29th, 2020. Again, I got chat in the background. I'm not actually looking at it right now. Say hello to everyone that may have rolled in here, and I hope you're having a great start to your week and are enjoying the live stream. We'll get to the live chat here in just a minute. And also, before I get to news and notes, these are ways that you could stay connected outside of YouTube. Both handles are the same for Twitter and Instagram, Mr. Mountain_man. And again, you don't need an account for either. You can peruse those without signing up. So some people don't like to have a bunch of social media accounts. It's just if you want to just take a look from a distance, you certainly can. All right. Let's get to the fun part. Remember, as I prefaced a little bit ago, news and notes pertains to travel and events, which is mostly what my channel is about. So that's the background for the articles that I choose to discuss with you all and share. So next up, let's see if I can do this. Let's see how I can do this. Let me see if I can. How did I do this last week? Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Let's see. If I do... I'm trying. Sorry. Give me 1 second. If I do this... Oh, boy, am I fumbling, right? This is terrible. I should have had this. Present. Oh, I remember what I did, I think. Nope, not that. Sorry. 10 seconds. I'm getting it. Let's just do this. Share. Let's see what it looks like. And what's it look like? I don't want that view. I want this view. Aha, that's what I did. That's what I did. Now I remember. Sorry for the delay. That was very unprofessional, right? I should have had that all together. All right, let's make sure. All right. Well, let's take off the banner so you can actually see. All right, so we're news and notes. All right. First up, first article is, this is from the Asheville Citizen Times. So the title of the article is, unfortunately, 2 people die in separate Great Smoky Mountains incidents in the past week. According to the article, 2 people died in Great Smoky Mountains National Park over the past week, including a man who drowned in the Oconaluftee, I always say that wrong, Oconaluftee River to save a child and another man, And also another man died in a motorcycle accident. From the drowning, the witnesses reported Guillermo Morales, 32 of Dudley, quote unquote, heroically jumped into the river to save the juvenile family member in distress, according to the release. Unfortunately, when rangers arrived on the scene, the juvenile was safely on shore, but Morales had drowned. So that's really sad. And then in a separate and unrelated incident, Smokies Park Rangers responded to a report of a collision involving a motorcycle on Newfound Gap Road on June 22nd. Philip Wraith, 69, Michigan, was traveling northbound on the main route between Cherokee and Gatlinburg, Tennessee, when his motorcycle crossed the center line and struck a Honda Odyssey, which was traveling southbound near the Chimney Tops trailhead about 9 miles south. Park spokeswoman Jessica So said these are the 6th and 7th fatalities in the Smokies so far this year. So, the output of this story is that, this Great Smoky Mountains National Park, the #1 visited national park in the country, is, it's busy. Lots going on. And I wouldn't say there's no danger or anything crazy like that, but be aware, like the motorcycle accident, that sound like the motorcyclist crossed left of center. But when it comes to driving, I would say, 90% of the people on the road, my just guesstimation, are tourists, and the other 10% are maybe working and going from A to B. So what do you do when you're a tourist? You look around and you look around. So, just that extra level of paying attention, sometimes it matters. You might get somebody wandering out onto the roadway, a human or an animal, or a lot of motorcycles out there. And here on the Blue Ridge Parkway, I mean, look at me, I was out there. And if you notice, look at the gear that I had: full face helmet, armored coat, jeans, boots, gloves. I try to ride very safely. But anyway, things happen and it can get dangerous. So be aware and pay attention in the Smokies, not just the Smokies, everywhere in the mountains. There's a lot of tourism going on. Not everybody's on their A game as far as paying attention to others. So just be careful when you're out there. All right. Next up, and this relates to, again, with travel, because the title of this was also from the Asheville Citizen Times, about our governor, North Carolina Governor Cooper, extends phase 2 through July 17th and requires face coverings. So North Carolina will not move into the next phase of easing coronavirus restrictions this week after Governor Roy Cooper moved to extend the current phase for another 3 weeks through July 17th and add a new requirement that face coverings be worn in most public spaces. The requirement goes into effect, or it already did, on June 26 at 5 p.m. when phase 2 was originally set to expire. A lot of people thought when phase 2 expired and we went into phase 3, gyms, bowling alleys, movie theaters, and other places would reopen, but they extended it here. Again, we're talking about North Carolina. So this is what Governor said: "The numbers we see are stark warning and we must pay attention," Cooper said. "I'm concerned." He said that since the beginning of the pandemic, he has been clear that data and science would lead the way, and that his decision on phase 2 and the face covering follows that standards, meaning he's not wanting to, make this political or anything else. It's strictly the numbers and, trends up and down. We're adding this new requirement because we don't want to go backward, meaning backward into a bad state of what's going on with the pandemic. We want to stabilize our numbers so that we can continue to safely ease restrictions and, most importantly, get our children back to school. That's a big question, is like, what's going to happen in August when it's time to go back to school? Are kids going to be able to or not? What's that going to look like? Now statewide, everyone 11 years or older will be required to wear face coverings that cover the mouth and nose indoor and outdoor public spaces, where maintaining 6 feet of distance is not possible. I did read that this could be enforced through a citation, or that businesses could state trespassing because the person was not, following guidelines as per set by the rule. My gut feeling is that this would not be probably strictly enforced. I was out after June 26th. I think I went to Home Depot this past weekend to get paint, and there were still several people that were not wearing masks. So I don't know how much teeth are in this policy, but the reason it's important to know is because if you're traveling to North Carolina or coming around, the standards here versus like our other popular hotspot on the other side of the mountains, being Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, are very different. I was over on Yankee in the South's YouTube channel, their Facebook group, and a nice lady was asking if they should travel to Gatlinburg sometime this summer. And I was looking at the comments that were reported back, and one person had posted a picture from downtown Gatlinburg. It was packed. Nobody was wearing a mask. That was testament by the people that had been there. So a lot of people are modifying their vacation. Like maybe they'll rent a cabin and they'll stay in the cabin, or go in the car in the mountains to Cades Cove, or, go to places where they can manage their distancing, but probably not make a stroll in downtown Gatlinburg. And again, bringing it back to North Carolina, there's a little bit more stringent standards, or I should say policy, happening over here right now. And this is a day-to-day thing. Maybe Tennessee, maybe Georgia changes, South Carolina, who knows? That's up to each individual state. So just something to be aware about. It was a little disappointing to read, and maybe this is some people's mentality, but this is not mine. Some people said, well, we went to Gatlinburg and walked around and we didn't get sick, so it's not a problem. I don't personally like that type of attitude or thought process, because I too try to align a little bit more with science and facts on this particular topic. And, you know, just because you didn't interact with somebody who had COVID and you didn't get sick doesn't mean it can't happen, or other things. So I'm not sure that the logic that just because you went out in public one time and didn't get sick, that doesn't dictate necessarily the future. I'm not also talking about being crazy fear, but it's just, you know, if there are any kind of issues right now or any kind of, you know, health concerns, you know, that's a decision you all have to make for yourself. And like I've talked about with my family, you know, we try, you'll see, like, look at my videos, the bike, the motorcycle, I didn't get really near anybody. And the time before that, we went to Metcalf Bottoms, and that was just, you know, out in the mountains in the woods. So we try to maintain or manage that ourselves. All right. Next up. And this is interesting too, because kind of a segue into the same thing. Now, we're not talking about New Jersey much here, but on this article from CNBC, this came out today, New Jersey delays resuming indoor dining at restaurants as coronavirus cases grow in other states. Now, the reason this is interesting is, let me read you a little bit about the article and then we'll talk about it. New Jersey restaurants won't be allowed to resume indoor dining on Thursday as originally planned due to a growing number of coronavirus cases, the governor said. He said, according to the article, today we must hit pause in the resumption of indoor dining, which was to resume this Thursday. Under our revised plan, indoor dining will now be set to resume at a later date to be determined. So they don't know when, the governor said. It brings me no joy to do this, but we have no choice. Murphy noted that some New Jersey residents and establishments haven't been adhering to social distancing guidelines or using face coverings as recommended. He was quoted as saying, so unfortunately, the national situation, compounded by instances of knucklehead behavior here at home, are requiring us to hit pause on the start of indoor dining for the foreseeable future. Health experts agree that indoor spaces are higher risk than outdoor spaces when it comes to the virus spread, which is another reason why New Jersey has paused indoor dining, Murphy said. Health experts specifically warn that indoor dining, there's less airflow and could be a higher risk since people can't wear face coverings when they eat. He was stated as saying, we know that the virus moves differently indoors than out, making it even more deadly. We have seen spikes in other states driven in part by the return of patrons to indoor dining establishments where they are seated without face coverings for a significant period of time. So how does this apply to us? This is New Jersey, but how does this apply? Well, again, going back to hotspot tourists, the mountains and travel and entertainment and things that we talk about, you know, if you talk about like over, maybe you could see here in downtown or at Asheville and some of these places, again, there's some pretty strict requirements around distancing and masks. But like when I was over in Gatlinburg, if we drove through Pigeon Forge, there were lines to get into restaurants. So again, you know, that it's tough because, I mean, for the economy and for people's jobs and for well-being and all this, I would love to see everything back to normal. We all would. This stinks, doesn't it? It stinks, right? I mean, it's just awful. But it's a learning process. Like I know in New York, they were talking about malls having to use special air filters because of recirculated air. I mean, think about it. Have you guys ever sat down at a booth at a restaurant or something and you sit right under the air conditioning and you get like this draft and it kind of ruins your meal, or you scoot over a little bit so the air doesn't blow right on you? I mean, imagine that air just coming out from, you know, everybody breathing and everything like that. So who knows how this will impact us in our summertime and our fall until we are able to get past this. But it is interesting to see what's happening in other states. It's a little bit of a boomerang effect. And we got to the point where it seemed like everything was reopening and everything was good. And now some states are seeing some problems. So, you know, we'll see. You know, another vacation hotspot in Florida, they're going to be closing some of the beaches because of the virus surge. According to the article from WLS, which is a channel here in Asheville, More Florida beaches will be closing again to avoid further the spread of the coronavirus as officials try to tamp down on large gatherings amid a spike. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said at a news conference Sunday in Pensacola that interactions among young people are driving the surge. They were going to be closing the beaches for July 4th weekend in Broward County. The Florida Health Department reported on Sunday there were 8,500 new confirmed cases and 29 deaths. New hospitalizations are also ticking upward, although not as dramatically as the new cases. State officials on Friday announced a ban on alcohol consumption at bars. Said there was widespread, the governor said there was widespread noncompliance. Several restaurants were shut down over the weekend in Broward County for not following restricting capacity and maintaining the use of masks. So, again, if you're planning a trip this summer somewhere, whether that's the beach or the mountains or whatever, you'll just have to navigate some of these situations and restrictions. Everybody has to make their own decision. Again, you've kind of heard how we've done it, trying to manage our own ability to be safe. But it just depends on where you go. If some of you may not be vacationing or traveling. But these are just good things to know. I mean, so if it's like, oh, maybe it's a problem in the mountains, let me go down to the beach. But the beaches they're also going through a little bit of that boomerang effect. You might wonder, this was just an interesting question. Somebody said, somebody had asked, and WLS does, a viewer asked, since the governor has extended our newest phase opening to July 17th, does that mean as a resident of North Carolina, we can't travel to like a neighboring state like South Carolina? And it's not that restrictive. The executive order from the governor says people who are at high risk or severe illness from COVID are strongly encouraged to stay home and travel only for absolutely essential purposes. The CDC defines high risk as people 65 and older and people of any age who have serious underlying medical conditions, including those with immunocompromised or have lung disease, moderate to severe asthma, heart, severe obesity, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, undergoing dialysis, or liver disease. So there's nobody at the border saying you can't move. I mean, this isn't anything new. It was just somebody was curious about, hey, can I travel? It's not that restrictive, as we know. So yeah. All right, let's get to the lighter side of things. I still wanted to talk about those current events because it does impact how we travel. At least the knowledge of it does. I mean, you can still go out and do whatever you want to do. I mean, you can't go into a business that's closed, but if businesses are open, you're able to do whatever you want. But it is still good to know, in the travel and entertainment space that this channel represents, what's happening here in the mountains and some other travel-like places that I've been. Like I've been to Myrtle and the mountains and some other fun places in Gatlinburg and Tennessee and Western North Carolina. So it's interesting to talk about some of that. This was from the Citizen Times. Basically the nutshell of this article, I'll read you a little bit of it. A Christmas-like giddiness rained down on Asheville, Western North Carolina, and pretty much everywhere in the country for people who love national parks and the great outdoors. So this includes the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, the Blue Ridge Parkway, and other parks that we like. There was reason to celebrate June 17th when the U.S. Senate passed the Great American Outdoors Act by a vote of 73 to 25, including yay votes from North Carolina's 2 senators. The bill, which now moves to the House for final passage, would fully fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund, a popular program that has been on the current administration's chopping block in recent years. The fund invests in national parks, public lands, and communities across the country. It would improve access points, expand trails and services, and create new parks and outdoor green spaces at no cost to U.S. taxpayers by drawing funds from offshore drilling receipts. In addition, the fund in the act would provide funding to repair aging infrastructure in America's more than 400 national parks, dedicating up to $6.5 billion to infrastructure repairs over 5 years. The CEO for the nonprofit National Park Conservation Association mentioned chronic underfunding, cuts in staff, record visitation, meaning lots of people like to go to the parks, and billions of dollars in repairs have burdened our national parks for years. Park road and bridges are collapsing, water systems are failing, and visitor centers are crumbling. 2 of the greatest beneficiaries will be the Blue Ridge Parkway, a scenic 469-mile roadway that runs through the heart of Asheville on its way from Virginia Cherokee, and which is the second most visited National Park Service unit with 15 million visitors in 2019, and the Smokies, the most visited national park with 12.5 million visitors last year. So the long and the short of it is some funding's coming about for the national parks, and a lot of that would go to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and the Blue Ridge Parkway, things that we love, and help keep them up and make them nice. So there is some positive news about places we go. We all want them to be nice, right? I'll tell you where where the age really shows are the restrooms throughout the parks. Like, especially when I was at Metcalf Bottoms, like, some of those bathrooms are old. They look like they were built in like 1950, and they haven't been touched since. And the one at the Sugarlands Visitor Center outside of Gatlinburg is also kind of nasty. In that one, the toilet had overflowed, and the whole floor was like an inch of water. It was pretty gross. So yeah, anything to do to keep the parks up, because people love them. I mean, that's why we're all here talking on this channel, because we like stuff like this. So hopefully this helps with that. Oh, last but not least, another light-hearted, easygoing story. Fish for free in North Carolina's public waters on July the 4th. This is from the Caldwell Journal. On July 4th, anyone in North Carolina, regardless of age, can enjoy the state's best outdoor activities for free. Free Fishing Day, which runs from 12 to 12 on July 4th, offers residents and out-of-state visitors the opportunity to fish without having to purchase a license. However, all other fishing regulations apply, such as length and delay of possession limits, as well as bait and tackle restrictions, which my guess is that if you're not an avid fisherman, you don't know how many fish out of the stream you're allowed to catch anyway. So authorized by the North Carolina General Assembly in '94 and sponsored by the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission, North Carolina's annual Free Fishing Day, which always falls on July 4th, was created to promote the sport of fishing. Free Fishing Day is a great opportunity for families to enjoy some quality time together on the water, said Christian Waters, the agency's chief of the Inland Fisheries Division. Fishing is an inexpensive activity that anyone, no matter what their age or skill level, can enjoy. So if you want to come to North Carolina and find yourself a pond or a stream and you don't have a fishing license, have fun on July 4th. Great way to probably keep social distancing and be outdoors. I'll tell you, of all the hobbies I've ever gotten into, fishing was not one of them. And I have nothing against it. I've done it once or twice in my life, and I really enjoyed it. It's just a time thing. Like all that time we lived in Florida, we could have been fishing off the intercoastal and getting big old fish and doing stuff. Just, I was always more into motorcycles and bowling and bodybuilding and all these other things, and family and Disney World and whatever, the mountains and all kinds of stuff. So I just never got into fishing. But fishing is a great activity. So there you have it, folks. I have 109 comments, and I'm going to be way behind, but that will do it for, not the live stream, guys, not the live stream, but for news and notes of the week for June 29th, 2020. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. All right, let's see what I can see. There are some new people here. Are new, I should say. There are some people that rolled in. So I am not, okay, so here's the deal. We're feeling our way out here. If there was a comment that I miss that you want to state, just put it in again, please, on any of the topics. But I am going to go back through and read a few of these. Dale Bush said, I do enjoy this, and I appreciate that you put your time on Twitter. Thank you so much, Dale. Oh, cool. Planning on renting a Can-Am to ride the Tail of the Dragon. That would be awesome. Tail of the Dragon, for those that don't know, is one of the most famous parts of the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina for riding motorcycles. It is turn after turn after turn. Be very careful there, traveling Hoosier, but it is excellent. Kentucky Girl says, I'm glad he puts it on Twitter because YouTube will never give me notifications at the live chat. Thank you for letting me know that. I will continue to do all of that, making sure I let people know when we're going to have a live stream. I do that on Monday. I try to gauge about the time I'm going to start. I hope tonight you hit on the topic of bears getting in people's cars. It's been all over the news. So, Kentucky Girl, I had an article from the Caldwell Journal about bears and staying away from them and not trying to approach them. I didn't add it in because I had so many stories already. So, but you're right. This is high bear season, everyone. So if you see bears, then steer clear. Be careful. Valley Mountain says, your hair looks nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully, again, it was kind of a crazy experience, but I'm glad that at least the air conditioning's turned on. Ted and Deborah gave a little feedback here, said, hope all is well. We enjoyed your ride to Mount Mitchell. We used to ride and that brought back memories. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed that first person view, kind of going through. And again, I try to perfect it, but I hope you enjoyed it. Dale asks, do the Bears do that more a certain time of day or night, or hasn't that mattered? She might answer, but bears typically come out in the early morning or the later evening, like at dusk and dawn. Those are the two. Oh, here we go again. I'll click out then in. Did I have a problem? Okay, let me know. Kendall Newman said, love the video. Thank you so much, Kendall Newman. There was a lot of beautiful scenery in Marvin, in that ride. Yes, there really was. And Dale said the same thing. Thank you so much. And thank you, Blondie's Adventures. If you're still here, I know I am behind on the comments, but I'm catching up. Thank you for doing that and saying that, and welcome to everybody when I was doing that. I thought you were going to hit the back end of a couple of vehicles with that bike. I know. And Rita had made a comment on the YouTube channel as well. There were a few times I had to purposely slow up. I wasn't speeding, but I'd get behind like that white van, and there was the red car. That red car going up at the end right to Mount Mitchell, the speed limit was like 25 and they were going like 12. I'm all for sightseeing, but I literally was like in first gear on the bike, maybe second probably. And then they didn't know where I don't know. They were going to stop and then go. And I'm like, should I just pass them? Because I was recording. And so, yeah. Hey, Loggy Doggy. Hope you're doing well. Hello to you. Hey, we got Mr. Mountain Man Mom. Hopefully you heard my answer about Instagram. I hope I'm glad to have you here, Mom. I hope everything's going well. Oh, thank you for the pronunciation. Oknalufti River. Oknalufti. All right. Oknalufti. Smoky Mountain Hiker. So Smoky Mountain Hiker, hello. I don't know if he's still in here. Again, I know I'm a little bit behind on comments. Smoky Mountain Hiker also, I don't think you rented a motorcycle, but he has motorcycle vids on his channel. Everybody knows Smoky Mountain Hiker. But if you don't, check out, because he does hikes, he does motorcycle rides. One time he played video games on a live stream. I follow Smoky Mountain Hiker. So I hope you're doing well over there in Tennessee and everything's going well. Oh, we got Big Daddy here too. Big Daddy. Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Oh, Blondie went away. She said good night. So good night to Blondie. Let's see here. Oh, Rick and Dale Simon. I messed it up. I went through a whole thing the other week. And now I forget. In my head, it's like Simon X. Simon O? No, that X is silent. You're going to be so upset with me. You're like, Al, we taught you this the other week. Can you not know this? So I apologize. But hello, I hope you're still here and enjoying the live stream. And forgive me if I mess up the last name. Please forgive me. Kentucky Girl says, I agree. Mask wearing is for your fellow man. Right. I saw a commercial today, Kentucky Girl, about it was like wearing a mask is a symbol of love. It was, kind of poetic and stuff. But the whole point of it is you're protecting somebody else. We all know these things are not airtight, and we don't have the big full gas mask type thing on. It's just to keep from from doing that, from that. Joy Blessed Life said the CDC says there are false positives too hot for face masks. I got weak in Pigeon Forge today without a mask in the humid air. Is that from wearing the mask? You said it was because, yeah, I mean, if I'm reading that right, and I apologize if I messed it up, yeah, that's the one thing is like, it is hot and it's hard to breathe with these things. So it's part of navigating the plan. Like maybe, during the day, it's the summer, walking around in the sun with a mask is going to be tough for anybody. And please drink lots of water, everybody. Actually, I talk about that all the time. Like, Smoky Mountain Hiker, again, I don't know if he's still here, but he does a lot of hikes. He's, like professional hiker, but, a lot of people, we say drink a lot of water, and I'm getting away from the mask. I'm talking more about hiking, like in the mountains. And I always joke, drinking a lot of water does not mean drinking a couple of sips of water after a terrific, mountain pancake breakfast at our favorite location. I love pancakes. Drinking water, plenty of water means like, 30 to 64, 128 ounces, like drink, keep hydrated. Just be safe, and be careful, everybody, when it gets hot, and don't overdo it. Better be safe than sorry. That's right. And, I hope you feel better. I do too. Looks like Loggy Doggy had to take off. Hope you, are able to wake up in the morning, rested and doing well. Yeah. Foxy Wolf says there are false negatives. Nothing's 100%, but I prefer to be safe for you and me. Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, by the way I'm reading a lot of this stuff, you all know I'm a proponent for this. I do bodybuilding and I try to stay in shape. So, in another area, you might hear somebody like me being like, "Oh, I don't need to do any of this" and stuff like that. No, I'm with everything that you guys are saying here. Like, I agree with you. Like, I think it is. I mean, there's so many unknowns. I want to protect you and my family and people around me, myself, and all that stuff. So I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just saying, just use that information to help you navigate when you go outside. I felt better when I got in the air-conditioned car. Hot, humid air makes me feel weak, and that's why I moved to Florida. It was hot and humid 90% of the year, and I couldn't go out. Yeah, Florida. Well, you heard me talk about it, Joy Blessed Life. Florida, well, I was talking about the hurricanes when I lived there, but it was so hot down there. It's crazy hot. Florida is nuts. Florida is nothing to. Florida, you got to go from air conditioned to air conditioned place. It's tough. Like when you got to mow the grass and work on the yard and all that stuff. Loggy Doggies, looks like you got a lot of friends tonight. Yeah, everybody's very polite. I love the people here because, everybody says hello and everybody says good night. What a great group we have. Just a great, fun group of people. We believe we had the message here in February, had the symptoms for 2 months. Yeah. It's interesting because on that topic, I've had some friends that have swore up, down, left, right that they have had it, but when they went and got the test, it turned out they didn't. Not to say you did or didn't, I don't know. But one thing I think a lot of us, have to remember is it was still a flu season, like regular flu. Flu sucks. If you remember if you ever get the flu, it makes you feel like awful. And so, I don't know how much of that was construed with regular flu season when this stuff came around, but, yeah. So anyway, I hope you feel better, Joy Blessed Life. I really do. Love from the heat that you were talking about today. People better take the virus seriously. It's dangerous for every age group. That is the truth. And I just think a little bit of precaution. I mean, we'll get through this. I mean, and that's another cliche, but we will get through this. This maybe, let's see, what were we on? Live stream episode 33, one every week. Maybe by the time we get to, let's see, 25, 50, 60, maybe around episode 60, this thing is a thing of the past, or at least we can combat it. So maybe we'll look forward to that. Hey, Story has it here. Karen is here. Hello, Karen Story. Hope you're having a great Monday and evening. I know I'm late saying hello to you by about 15 minutes, but I hope you're doing well. Karen is awesome. Always very helpful as a moderator and just real pleasant to chat with in all of these different live streams in the community. Let's see here. Hey, look, Ditta is here. Ditta is my sister. And that is the avatar there is the from the Haunted Mansion at Disney World, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ditda, it's good to have you here. So I got my mom, I got my sister here, and I got all friends here and everything. This is a great Monday. Yeah, cool, Foxy Wolf. Great American Outdoors Act, money for the mountains and the outdoors and everything that we like. So that should be pretty cool. Rick and Dale, nice on the free fishing. Yes, I don't think I'll probably be doing that, but it's a nice option, right? I enjoy fishing with my husband and having a picnic. It makes for a fun day. Yes. I think having a picnic outdoors, I mean, as you've seen, that's been a great thing recently. Like, I mean, just getting back to old fashioned fun. I say old fashioned, but like, we don't have to pay for a ticket to go do something. And when I say we, I mean the community. I mean, that stuff's fun, but there's a lot of ways to have fun in nature. And even if you don't live where we live, I don't care if you live in Des Moines, Iowa, there's going to be something to do outdoors that's safe, picnic or on the edge of a lake or a pond, or there's no water and you just go to a neat park in the woods with the family or whatever you like doing. Yes, sounds like a romantic fishing date. Oh, it went away. Let's see. Story has it, says a day fishing is a good day. That sounds like a shirt or a bumper sticker. It sure could. A good way to remember to catch the stream. Walk out on Mr. Mountain Man's mom patio when she has it on. Well, I'm sure everybody else is probably going, well, you hit the little bell icon on the subscription and you get a notification that there's a live stream. That's me picking at my sister right there. So, if you put the little bell, although I know some people have problems with notifications or if you turn them off on the phone, but if you turn on notifications on the phone, or excuse me, on YouTube, on the little bell icon, you should be able to be notified through a notification that that I'm on. But if you happen to be at mom's place, mom, dad's place, and they have it on, that's a great in your face kind of reminder. That's right. That is funny. Rita says, we went fishing all the time when I was growing up. We camped in the back of the Tennessee River at Pickwick. That's awesome. I mean, this is the great stuff to do now. These are the fun kinds of activities. Like, I've also never been like the outdoorsman to like camp or stuff, but like camping sites, fishing, hiking, sitting down in a rocking chair next to the woods or mountains or, something with a view wherever you live. Lots of cool things to get creative in this current circumstance. We can make the best of it. I like your bike, Mr. Mountain Man. Thank you. It is a 2004 Suzuki Marauder 1600. That's 1600 cc's V-twin cruiser style motorcycle. For many years before that, I had the 800 cc version of that bike. And I so wanted the 1600, which they had quit making. And I found somebody when I lived in Florida that had owned the bike and almost never rode it and had it under a sheet in their garage. And I was able to buy it. And I was one happy camper. I really, really like the bike. Thank you. I hope to get out and do more rides. Also, to the community, I would love feedback or constructive criticism on what you thought about the video. If you don't like the format, if you think it's too long, too short, if you want the raw video versus whatever, I don't know. I get analytics on it. And again, the reason I make these videos is fun for me and for you. So the only thing I'm talking about analytics and stuff, it's not about, driving massive numbers. But if everybody clicks off after 2 minutes, that tells me that nobody's really watching it and I'm not engaging folks and maybe it's not a fun video. So if anybody has any feedback and they want to give it on any of my videos, you're not going to offend me. I always like to hear it. Let's see. Chad Loveless. How's the heat down there? Here in Wisconsin, we're supposed to have over a week of 90 with humidity. That's unusual for here. Yeah. Chad, so fortunately here, because we're at a little higher elevation, not crazy, but here in the mountains, our summers, this is one of the things I love about here. It reminds me of like my grandfather lived up near Lake Erie and in the summer, I remember highs were a lot like 85, 86. You didn't really get 100 degrees. That's like here. It's like a lot of highs in the 80s and lows in the high 60s. Now we'll get in the 90s when a heat wave comes in, and sometimes it gets cooler, but I do enjoy the higher elevation and the cooler temps. But this time of the year, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Michigan, Ohio, the whole Midwest gets hot. You guys get on par with the rest of the country. When you're normally cooler in the rest of the year, this is the time it's going to be hot. So I feel for you. I hope you stay cool. It's going to be a classic July 4th weekend, right? Reminds me of our younger days riding bikes. Yeah, hopefully that's one of the parts you enjoy about, when I do the bike rides is I do realize too, some people never going to buy a motorcycle, don't want to buy a motorcycle. Think about it. This is pretty cool about YouTube and this fact that I can bring that medium to folks that may never be interested in riding and get to see that perspective. And I'll continue to work on it. Everybody loves a Smoky Mountain hiker. Yes, we do. And he says people don't just need to lock their car doors and close their windows. Bears won't get in that way. Thank you, Mr. Mountain. Yes, I'm doing good. Glad to hear you're good. Yeah, lock your doors. Like locking your doors to me is common sense anyway. Like theft. I'm not thinking about bears. I'm thinking about somebody just trying to open the car and steal something. But yeah, as far as like getting into the car, I also Simono. That's right, Simono. I'm sorry, Simono. I like Simono. Like if I ever forget it, I'm gonna be like, hey, Rickendell S. I'm just gonna say the last initial, Rickendell S. Yeah, thank you for saying it. Simono. He said, say it fast. Back to Smoky Mountain hiker. Yeah, lock your car doors. Like the only thing I would stink is like if the bear scratched the paint or something like that. Of course, you can get insurance and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, check out Smoky Mountain Hiker's channel. I'm sure all of you are probably already subscribed, but he's got some great videos over there. Hey, Smoky Mountain Hiker, maybe someday, I don't know. I'm just crazy, busy family and work and all this stuff. But it did cross my mind when I saw your videos. I'm like, it might be kind of cool to ride together sometime. So I don't know. I don't usually take the bike over to East Tennessee, but who knows? If anybody rides and is in the, maybe we can put together a ride someday. That would be pretty cool. Ditta is here with us. Yes, that's pretty cool. So everybody's watching. If Dad's in earshot or watching, tell him I said hello as well. Hello, all of Mr. Mountain. Hello to you, Brian Fisher. Hope you're having a great start to your week and everything's going well out your way. If you like steam baths, go to Florida. That is the truth. Florida's hot. One of my friends was telling me they were going down to Disney in July. And let me tell you something. That's brave. It's very, very hot in the middle of the summer. What I will tell you about Florida that really bothered me was when, like summer, like Chad Lovelace was saying, like up there in Wisconsin, it's getting into 90 degrees. So no matter where I've lived, my mind for June, July, and August is it's hot. It's just hot and I get used to it. But having grown up in the Midwest and even spent a lot of time in the Carolinas, you always get a little bit of a tapering off in September, but not Florida. Florida will even pump it up in September because the hurricanes and that offshore moisture and the humidity. September used to be the month when it would grow so long in the tooth for me living in Florida about the heat and humidity. That would really drive me nuts because, the other rest of the country would start be bragging and it'd be getting into football weather and we'd be 95 degrees and 100% humidity. So it was kind of nasty. Let me try to catch up here. Oh, geez, I'm still behind. My car was covered with dust. I wonder if it was from the Sahara dust storm. Yeah, so I heard also down in Puerto Rico that it was really bad there. There was a lot of the dust from that Sahara dust storm down there. What does Ditda mean? I wonder if they explain, if my sister explained. If she didn't, Kentucky girl, I'm going to come back to that. I always eat way too much at a picnic. It seems to taste better than when in the house. It sure does, right? Like you can eat the exact same food. Like even when we make the food in the kitchen and take it out on the deck and eat it, something fun about that, right, Rita? Like it's just more fun and it tastes better. it's just like an adventure, right? Even just to walk outside the door and eat it. So, I don't know. It's something in the head. It's like a placebo effect. Hey, Chris, about t-shirts. Good evening, everyone. Been watching on TV and not able to chat. I hope you're doing well. And if Mindy's around, please tell her we said hello. I hope everything is going well your way. It's always nice to have you here and say hello. Ditta says, I just hit the bell. Can't have my brother showing me up in public. I know, that's right. Brian mentioned bars and beaches are going to be closed. Yep, and that's what we were talking about, especially down in Florida. Here it is. Ditta said, my first name is Krista. When Mr. Mountain was a kid, he couldn't pronounce it. He called me Ditta. To this day, it's my nickname. That's right. I couldn't say Krista, so I said Ditta. So yeah, that is fun. It's fun. And then so I actually didn't call her Ditta like later, but my mom would continue to call it that. Chad asked, what's the elevation you live at in the mountains or the hills? Yeah, so Asheville at the French Broad River is at roughly almost exactly 2,000 feet. So you're not going to get anywhere in like Hendersonville or Asheville below like 2,000 feet. We are somewhere closer between 2,500 and 3,000 because all of Asheville area kind of goes up and down. So you do sometimes lose a couple degrees going up that extra 500 to 1,000 feet. We do not, though, if you go up to like Mount Pisgah or like Mount Mitchell and those I got, which I did not talk about in the recording, but you can lose 20 degrees going up. Like if you watch my original Mount Mitchell video, that was a warm day in December. I remember recording the car, it was like 65 degrees. And by the time we got to Mount Mitchell, it was like 40 or 38 or something. We lost like 25 degrees. So it's really fun. Don't ask me why. I'm always amazed and mesmerized by the cooler temps as you go up. In fact, when I did the Mount Mitchell motorcycle ride, my hands started to get cold because I wore perforated summer gloves. And so as I was going up the mountain and got the last, 2,000 feet up and down, my hands were cold. It wasn't cold outside, but when you're riding a motorcycle at speed, if it's like 60 degrees, it feels like it's 50 or 40 or, it's a little chillier. And it was funny because as I came down elevation, it was like somebody turned on the heater and my hands started to get warm. So great question, Chad. Yeah, it's really fun being in the elevation. Here's another elevation for you. So Gatlinburg is like, I believe, and I always pull up my elevation app. I think it's at like 1,100 feet. Pigeon Forge is at like 900 and some feet. But then you can go up to Cleveland's Dome, which is like 6,500 feet. So if you're vacationing over in East Tennessee, same thing holds here, like in Asheville, 2,000 feet. And you might go up in the mountains to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet. If it's winter, you could go from a regular day up to snow. That could happen. You could also reduce some temperature. I loved it when we stayed in a cabin right next to Ober-Gatlinburg, and when Ditta was there, and when we went up to it, in fact, it was right behind the top of the mountain roller coaster. So if you've ever gone to the mountain roller coaster at Ober-Gatlinburg, we stayed at that cabin right behind the top house at the top of the hill. And we would always lose like 10 degrees from the base of Gatlinburg downtown to the cabin. You can invite Nomadic Fanatic to a fall motorcycle ride, and he'd enjoy it. Yeah, Nomadic Fanatic. I only know them through the mentions on Yankee in the South's Will and Don's channel, and as I understand it, that's a very large channel. So I don't think anybody's going to pay attention to me. But yeah, it might be some fun someday to, like, if some people are in the Blue Ridge Parkway, we could go for a little ride. That'd be something fun to do. That'd be pretty cool. Hello, Brian. I like the Blue Ridge Parkway over there a lot. Yeah. I didn't see the question, but yeah, there are some videos that Smoky Mountain Hiker has from the Blue Ridge Parkway as well. Any more cute stories? We don't need to get into any of that stuff. Like, her and I used to fight all the time. We used to fight all the time, but now it's like a lot of siblings. You love them, and you have so much fun when you get to an adult. We love it when she comes and visits, And that's something fun we used to do. Is in fact, before we lived here, we would go to Gatlinburg with her and stay in cabins, and we really enjoyed it. Foxy Wolf, is it going to be cool here tomorrow or only 91 and 100% humidity? Might need a jacket. Yeah, I know. It's nuts, right? Going to Disney in July, Florida, wearing a mask would be a nightmare. Yeah, you could pass out. Speaking of that Joy Blessed Life, about what you were talking about, you definitely could pass out. That's you got to be a trooper to do that. Dad's there. So, hey, Dad, hope you're doing well. Hey, we got Hike with Mike. Hike with Mike has a really cool picture, and I remember he talked about where that was. Eyeglass Rock, Spotting Glass Rock, somewhere. I forget. But very cool picture, Hike with Mike. Glad you're here. Yes, there has been snow reported at one point through the years, every day of the year on Mount Mitchell. That's awesome. You know, Smoky Mountain Hiker, what I like to do is I look at the weather report live in the winter at Mount Mitchell and Mount Pisgah. And it'll be super cold up there. It'll be like, it'll be like 35 or 38 degrees Nashville. It'll be like 4 degrees up at Mount Mitchell. So it's really cool. Yeah, Hike with Mike, the hiking philosophers with us. In my area, elevation is usually sea level. All right, right. Asheville's such a beautiful city. You know, Rick and Dell, Simono, I said it right. I hope to bring some. I got stalled out on bringing some videos of Asheville in the city because of what's happening in 2020. So, I wanted to bring some. Asheville's really cool, and there's a lot to offer and a lot of cool things. So in the future, I think probably more 2021, I'll do more stuff here at home base. I remember Mr. Mountain teasing me. He likes to tease me about the way I ordered my meal in Myrtle Beach one summer. If he sees this, I'm sure he'll share what I ordered. It might be lost. I never do stories later, but we went to a seafood restaurant and my sister ordered a flounder, but it was called Baby Flounder Fusco. It was at a hotel we stayed at. And my sister's voice used to go up like 5 octaves when she would order. So it was like a polite thing. So if she talked to us, she might be, just regular, very casual and slumped over and just her normal voice. But if we were ordering, and she wasn't young at the time, she was probably, I don't know, 15 or 16. She'd sit up and, speak real. And so the waiter or waitress probably said, what will you have? And she said, I'll have the Baby Flounder Fusco. And she said it like all high pitched, Baby Flounder Fusco. And I think I probably said it 100 times that night. And and so every once in a while, because I made such a big deal that night, it was a story that went on and on, me making fun of her about the way she ordered that particular meal. So every once in a while, just out of the blue, I'll say it and we'll get a good laugh out of it. So I don't know, maybe it's one of those stories where you guys don't have context and it's not as funny, but it was funny. It's funny. We still jab at each other, but we have a good time. Love Asheville. Yes, we do too. Joy Blessed Life says the temperature went down 20 degrees when we left Pigeon Forge and got back towards Chuckey, Tennessee. I'm not familiar with Chuckey, Tennessee, but yeah, Pigeon Forge is in the valley for sure. Again, it's like 900 roughly feet. And with all that pavement from the street and everything, it could be a lot hotter in Pigeon Forge than it is if you're, say, up in the national park or over here in Western North Carolina or over in Cherokee or Asheville. It definitely. Brian says we are 1,500 below sea level. Yeah, I think, Brian, you said you're out in California or something like that, right? Smoky Mountain Hiker said, Mr. Mountain, you were saying something about riding bikes together. I was just saying I enjoy the parkway, so you could do that. Yeah. So we'll have to figure out something sometime. That'd be pretty cool to go on a ride and maybe do a video or something like that. I love the Blue Ridge Parkway. I mean, from Asheville, you go down Pisgah or go up towards Mitchell. And then I went the long way home. There's just so much nice riding. When I rode in Florida, I think I mentioned this last week, it was kind of boring. It was very straight. I mean, the only cool thing was when you rode on the coast like A1A. But other than that, North Carolina is the best riding I've ever done. That's what siblings are for, telling secrets and razzing you. Yeah. We had the blast at the beach every summer. Mr. Mountain said when he grew up, he wanted to live in a shack on the beach because he loved it so much. Well, I got close, because we lived at the beach in Daytona near the beach for several years. So I guess I ticked that box for a while. That would be a cool video for Smoky Mountain Hiker and fun for you, Mr. Mountain Man. Yeah, maybe this summer or fall we could figure something out and go for a couple hours and go for a ride. I'd definitely be actually Smoky Mountain Hiker. I have no idea what kind of bike you have. Let me know in the chat if you're still here. We try to go there, Black Mountain, a couple times a year. Is that Mount Mitchell you mean, Big Daddy? Oh, it was Pilot Mountain, the East Coast version of Dell's Tower. That's right. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Keep the stories coming. Yeah. My favorite city is Gainesville, Florida. Go Gators. Well, I heard a lot of that for a bunch of years when I lived in Central Florida. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye fan. And when I lived there, it was some tough years because the Gators had our number both in basketball and football. That was not fun. I'm a passionate Ohio State Buckeye fan. I did not enjoy those years. So now that the Gators aren't so good and the Buckeyes are better, I'm still have memories of the mid-2000s on that. That sounds good, Mr. Mapman. That's cool. My grandfather loved Black Mountain. He was born in Nashville. Yes, just a beautiful area. And dare I say underrated. To some, yes. To some, no. Because again, let's be honest, the entertainment mecca of this region is Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. But again, as I've talked about, if you're looking for diverse food and culture and museums and art and the mountains and the Blue Ridge Parkway and all that, that's better in Western North Carolina. But that's not everybody's cup of tea. If you've got young kids, you want to do some of that stuff too. Now, there are things like that in Nashville. We have the ball field. We have a baseball team. We have, zip lining. We have tubing because of the French Broad River. So a lot of people like to go tubing. There's go-karts around town. There's putt-putt. There's movie theaters and arcades at, certain places and Dave & Buster's and all that kind of stuff. So if you have to sprinkle in with the kids, you can do all that. And I'm probably forgetting stuff. There's things in Hendersonville like the Hands-On Museum. There are a lot of different things. So there's definitely things to do. And also, we're only 2 hours away from East Tennessee and from Gatlinburg and such. So you can go to both places and really make a vacation out of the Blue Ridge, Smoky Mountain area. It's really cool. We invited Challenge Nomadic Fanatic to a hike with us and Yankee in the South, and he said he will do it. So it's worth inviting him to a fall mountain bike ride. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. And I hope you guys enjoy that hike. That's really awesome. Mr. Mountain Man, Smoky Mountain Hiker collab video. I can't wait. Smoky Mountain Hiker and I have been on a video together. It wasn't a real direct collab, but when I went over to meet Yankee in the South at their meetup, and Chris About T-Shirts is on that video, and I believe Smoky Mountain Hiker, I panned through. It was a short video. He was on it. So I've met Smoky Mountain Hiker a couple of times, I think, when I went to those meetups. So I have met him. We haven't done any direct videos. That's right. Brian lives in California at 1,500 below sea level. It's a Suzuki Bergman 400. Okay, awesome. I actually will have to look up, obviously I'm familiar with Suzuki. My first bike was a 250, Honda CB 250. Then I had the Marauder 800, now the Marauder 1600. So any kind of bike is an awesome bike. Seriously, just riding is awesome. Love the Mellow Mushroom in Asheville. Great pizza. Hike with Mike. And I'll probably be wrapping it up in a few minutes here. But Hike with Mike. Good story about if Ditda's still here. There's a Mellow Mushroom in downtown Asheville. Ditda and I came to Asheville when I lived in Charlotte. My wife and I and Chris and Ditda came to Asheville. We went to Grandfather Mountain. We went to Chimney Rock, and we stayed in Asheville one night. And we went downtown Asheville, and we went to the Mellow Mushroom. And it's weird because I go by that Mellow Mushroom, and I haven't been there in 15 years or whatever it was when we came here. And I think about that sometime. It is such an iconic because it's downtown. Yes, it's a chain, but it's right downtown. It's a great place to get a slice of pizza. I need to go back there. I've passed by it, walked by it a few times. I need to check that out. So it's pretty cool that you mentioned that. Kentucky Girl. So as far as museums, I guess I use that term generically because there's places to go. I mean, we have the Arboretum, and then of course the Biltmore. And then downtown, there's the art museum. I forget the name of it. I was watching a special on it like a year ago. I haven't been there. And a few other places. I could get back to you, but some of that. We also have the Cherokee Center, so you get concerts and stuff that come into town, and shows. So Asheville's known for its downtown. Asheville's known for its eclectic and diverse population and shopping and restaurants and different types of food. It's going to be, I'm just mentioning the Mellow Mushroom in a chain, but other than that, there's a lot of one-off, places to eat of different types of, backgrounds of food. So downtown Asheville has a lot. I've only touched the surface of exploring downtown Asheville. So I want to get back into it. One of the favorite things about Asheville is the arts and crafts. Yeah. Like a lot of, why am I drawing a blank? What do they call starving artist type stuff? You'll see a lot of that. So Asheville's a great place to check out. So I say underrated because maybe it's just because of the community I associate myself. There's so much draw and attention, and I love it as well. I mean, we get there all the time. Like in this next comment, like it took me to Asheville and the Blue Ridge Parkway years ago, long before he moved to Florida. Then he invited me to Gatlinburg with them. We always have so much fun. We've always loved this area. There's a lot of, like what we love about Asheville is how dog friendly it is. Yeah. A lot of places will let dogs in, on a leash. And so, it's a great area to explore. Chad Loveless was heading out. Hey, good night, Chad. And I hope you have a great week as well. Sounds like you have a good brother. That's a really nice compliment. I don't think back in the day she thought I was a nice brother, but we really have a good time. Actually, Dittai, you got to get down here sometime. If she comes down here, we'll get her on a live stream. Actually, I could still do the invite on the live stream. Maybe we'll do that sometime. But if she gets down here, we'll have to get her on a video, doing something fun. Rita says, lots of people tonight. Great live stream. A lot of great people here tonight. I mean, just a lot of cool people. I love the live stream. I'm still a smaller channel overall, but just it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. And by that, I mean the quality of the individuals that are here. It's just a nice community. I really enjoy the conversation and your all insight into the things we talk about. I like what you say and the feedback and the things that are discussed. It's really pretty good. I will mention, I'm not trying to be controversial or get into anything controversial. It's not exactly that everything I talk about has to be light and fluffy. I mean, I talked about the pandemic and I talk about current events, but I don't want to get too much into anything that's of, politics or anything that's going to get offensive, because I am a welcoming channel to anybody, everyone, everywhere, every country, every background. I think it's neat because we can get all kinds of people's background and experiences. I love it. That's the cool thing about YouTube. It's like everybody's invited. So I enjoy the live stream because you all contribute back, and it's some great conversations, and some really interesting insight and experiences. I remember you all remember the night we were talking about old fast food restaurants that don't exist anymore or only in certain parts of the country. That was a really fun conversation. And you all were bringing up, I think Story has it, if she's still here, and some others. We're talking about places I had never heard of. And it was fun to kind of reminisce on some of that stuff. Dale Bush says, I do not have a dog, but I like to see stores with a bowl of water outside for dogs taking their owners for a walk. Yeah. I mean, I'm a dog owner. I have to get my dog here again. Did I have him on the live stream once? I don't know, but I'll have to get him once. He's great, Kentucky girl. We argued constantly as kids, but have a wonderful time together. Yeah. Maybe the story for the other time will be like, I don't know. We used to fight like cats and dogs, but yeah, my mom says you just hope they'd all survive. And we did. It'd be nice to get my other sisters on here, but everybody's so busy. I mean, yeah, this is really, I carved this time out to be with you all, to enjoy and to have it. But, right after this, it'll be right back to family. And before this is work and doing all kinds of stuff. So, it's a very busy time, but it's good to carve out this time and to just take a break and to enjoy y'all. Don't forget the River Arts District. Yeah, Big Daddy, I didn't mention it. Asheville Brewing Company has the best pizza in town. We're known for our breweries, the food, the River Art District. Yes, so much to do. Big Daddy makes a great point there. Thank you for reminding me of that. I used to call my sister Sissy when I was little. When I got 12, I decided to call her name since I was all grown up by that time. Yeah, right. Yeah, so we still call her Dit Doll. I usually just call her by her actual name, but Mom still calls her that. Good night, Mr. Mountain. Another great chat. Thank you, Ted and Deborah Harrison. Cool update on your picture, too. I think that's a new update with your, looks like a Miata pulling a little trunk there for going on adventures. That's really cool. My sister is a comedian, Brian. That's the truth. Word up. Yep. I don't know who that was to. Maybe that was hello. I had Basset Hounds, but they passed away, and now our house is filled with 4 cats. Yeah, some people, have cats and dogs. Pets are awesome. They fill up a house and make it a lot of fun. Well, guys, with that, I think it's time to call it episode 33 coming here to a close. I really enjoyed it. And again, I love the feedback you all give me. If you have any feedback on, the articles or the videos or the way they're done or anything, you can leave them on the YouTube videos or you can let me know. I really appreciate that on how to shape the channel. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying making these videos. I hope you're enjoying them. I know they don't come out at a feverish pace, but I get them out when I can. At least we have the live streams to connect. We have social media with Twitter and Instagram that you can connect with me. And again, one thing I was going to mention, I should have mentioned this in housekeeping. If anybody's new to the channel, it's interesting because as I've become more savvy with YouTube, and I don't mean as a creator, I just mean like this seems obvious, but when I get to a new channel that I really like, I will actually go back through the videos tab and watch a lot of their older stuff. Like when I start to like a channel and I subscribe, I'm like, oh, wow, this is cool. I don't just wait for the newest video. A lot of times I will go back and check out old stuff. So if anybody's new, check out some of the older videos that I've posted. There's some fun stuff in the mountains and around and some of my travels and places I've gone. So check those out as well and let me know in the comments what you think. And I'll continue to put some stuff out. So with that, good night to everyone here. And I really enjoyed it. I hope you have a great, safe, fun week. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everyone. That is on Saturday. So stay safe. Don't hold any fireworks in your hands too long. And have a great time. Enjoy your family, friends. Cook a hamburger, hot dog, or whatever you were going to do. And just have a great week. All right, everybody. Good night. Have a good one. Great hanging out. And we will see you next time on another Mountain Man Monday. Good night, everyone.